Well, I'm here with the last true madman of rock and roll, currently on tour in support of his blistering new album, Give 'Em Hell. Sebastian Bach, welcome to Psycho Babble.
Thank you.
So good to hear. Now, you just finished a kick-ass set out here, almost flawless. One problem, a little too short, and not enough songs off the new album. You did Temptation, right?
I love the way you're thinking. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, we're on a festival here. We're playing with a bunch of bands, and as much as I'd like to play longer, it's very disrespectful to the other bands if you go over your time. And I can't, you know. And I love Give 'Em Hell. I love it. But when you're in, like, there's quite a few people here tonight. Very good turnout. So you want to get the biggest reaction. You can't take out Youth Gone Wild.
No, you can't. You can't take out I Remember
No,
You.
you can't.
No.
You can't.
Well, but let's talk for a minute about Give 'Em Hell.
Thank you.
Now, you got some help on there from John Fry, from Steve Stevens, from Duff McKagan, and yet you come up with a song, All My Friends Are Dead.
Wow.
Shouldn't it be All My Friends Are on this CD?
You called me on that one. You called me.
Yeah.
All my friends. Well, okay.
Okay. Sebastian apologizes to his
I'm
friends.
sorry. I guess All My Friends Are Not Dead.
There you go.
The coolest thing about that song is that we shot 3 videos for the album. Temptation, Taking Back Tomorrow, which was a lyric video, and then All My Friends Are Dead. And my manager, I call him, I go, when are you going to get this on VH1? And he's like, dude, don't think about that. Nobody watches that. They're all on YouTube. And I say to him, but dude, when I'm flipping through the channels and I see my video, I stop and I'm like, oh cool, it's my video. And I know I'm not the only one, with a television set. So VH1 added All My Friends Are Dead. They're playing it.
Nice.
And I saw it last week. We've been on the road since April. It's now September. And I can't tell you how physically spent I am, like just physically, from doing this since April.
Wow.
It's a lot. So like last week I got home for the first time in a long time, and I put on the TV. I lied down on my bed. It was quiet. My body was not in motion, and it felt so incredible to just be still. I was like this, and I put on the TV, and I go boom. And the first channel, the first thing was VH1. It was All My Friends Are Dead. And I almost cried. Well, I did actually get a tear in my eye because all that work.
Yeah.
Even my manager telling me, don't worry about it. But I still got on there. And I was like this, and I went, oh my God, it's on the fucking channel. And I was like, oh my God. I was freaking out. Like, I was like, just because you put everything into it.
Right.
And then I'm just imagining all across the United States of America, people in their houses watching the video, and it just feels great.
Good.
Like that gives me inspiration to keep rocking. Like, I don't just want my video on YouTube. I guess I'm old or something. I want it on fucking TV, damn it.
Well, and the good thing about you,
maybe I'm the last one that has a TV, but
good thing about YouTube is we don't have to sit through a bunch of Shania Twain videos to watch your video. We can just go right to you.
Okay, but there's so much crap on there you got to wade through.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like.
Let's go back to talking about your album, Give 'Em Hell. This thing was obviously, you put a lot of work into it. This is a polished piece of work. To me, it's a throwback to kind of this is like your Toys in the Attic, where there's a lot of melody on there and yet enough screaming and ass-kicking to make it real rock and roll. You got a song on there, a ballad, the one cover song, Rock and Roll is a Vicious Game.
Right.
A beautiful song.
Right.
Don't you think maybe, though, you've been in this business almost 30 years, you've kind of won the game, you've outlasted some of your detractors, and you're kind of calling the shots now?
Wow, that's a lot of info in that question. I love your attention to detail. I love that you obviously have listened to the record, and that means a lot to me. The song Rock and Roll is a Vicious Game is my commentary on looking at some of the younger guys that are in bands that I've worked with. I'm not talking about all younger bands. I've had experiences with people that seem to think that they're like owed something, like, and I'm like, dude, you have to give it 100% of your life, like for the rest of your life. That's the only way somebody might relate to your music. Like if you put everything into your music, somebody might listen to it and say, man, I can feel what he's feeling. Mm-hmm. Like look at a guy like Willie Nelson, who's in his 80s, and he's not looking for handouts. He's on the road again. He just can't wait to get on the road again. About it with his family and his friends. He can't wait to get on the road again.
Well, now you mentioned Willie Nelson, and he was one of the people that you were made up to be on. What's the show?
Sing Your Face Off.
Sing Your Face Off. I was trying to remember that. You did Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't do Lady Gaga. You were Lady Gaga. You did Freddie Mercury. Well, you were Freddie Mercury. What was the most challenging of all those?
Oh, I don't even want to say because I don't want anybody to watch it. But the most challenging was Adam Levine because I didn't know who that was. I thought they said Avril Lavigne. And I would probably be a better Avril Lavigne than an Adam Levine.
Well, you were an outstanding Freddie Mercury. I mean, not a lot of people can pull off that Queen stuff.
I will only agree with you on the note, I come through. And when I hit that on TV, I was like, well, damn. I hit that one. I held it nice and clean and clear, and I come to sing. That's the one thing you can say about me. And even my manager in Skid Row way back in the 60s, I can remember him saying, I overheard him once talking to business associates, and I was in like the next room, and they said, here's the one thing about Sebastian. Sebastian comes to sing. Like, he's coming there. And I was in the other room, and I went, wow, I guess that's what I do. I come to sing.
Yes, you do. And
I do come. That's why I come here.
Can we hear a little This Is the Moment? Any chance we can get a little of that out of here?
Now there is no choice I must put aside. Okay, that's it.
Beautiful. This guy.
I gotta stand up.
So, well, what's the future hold? What are you working on? Another album we're hoping?
No. Here's the future. It's September 1st tomorrow, right?
Yes.
I have to hand in my book to HarperCollins by Christmas or January 1st.
Ooh.
So this is my whole focus now. I've got September, October, 4 months. I'm already quite into it, but now it's crunch time.
Well, your story is a story of survival. I mean, you've been through a lot. I mean, rocketed to stardom as a young man, and
that actually, when you say that, my first impulse was not to have a typical book of like starting at your childhood, going through, and then you rise, and then you fall, and then you come back, like that whole typical storyline. I kind of, when I read Neil Young's book, Waging Heavy Peace, I'm a big Neil Young fan, and his book's not linear. Okay. It's not a straight. It's not like, well, here's me as a kid, here's me. I just found it interesting. Okay. I like to be surprised.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't like to be bored. Being bored is boring.
No, is your publisher?
So sorry. I'm sorry.
You talk.
But having said that, when I read Paul Stanley's book, the story of how he was not famous, or Kiss was not famous, and then they became Kiss.
Right.
And what that is like to go from being like a normal person and then being like a rock star. That is fascinating to read by anybody. Yeah. And I have that story.
Yes, you do.
So even though I might not personally find that totally interesting to me, to the reader, to read about like, okay, I was like a teenager and then millionaire on television and touring the world. That's a fascinating story.
It really is.
So I
It
want to
really
tell
is.
those details.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to keep you much longer. I want to know any message for your fans out there. Buy the book, I'm assuming.
Well, no, buy the album because the book's not out yet.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But buy the album, Give 'Em Hell. It's a cool album, as Psycho Babble will attest to. What a show for me to be on.
Exactly. We had you in mind when we came up with that.
Yeah, that's a show for me. This is Sebastian Bach on Psycho Babble. To the fire, from the fire, keep it in his heart. Cool places, where's the shine? Real good, the day is just walking his head. You make that for still for some affection. Oh, you make me feel.
Well, I'm here with the last true madman of rock and roll, currently on tour in support of his...
We're on a festival here. We're playing with a bunch of bands, and as much as I'd like to play longer, it's very disrespectful to the other bands if you go over your time. And I can't, you know, and I love Give 'Em Hell. I love it. But when you're in, like, there's quite a few people here tonight. Very good.
blistering new album, Give 'Em Hell. Sebastian Bach, welcome to Psycho Babble.
Thank you.
So good to hear. Now, you just finished a kick-ass set out here, almost flawless. One problem, a little too short, and not enough songs off the new album. You did Temptation, right?
I love the way you're thinking. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah.